everyone. This is Fabrizio Ferrari at virtualchemist.com, here today with a special interview with Paul Leverger. Did I say that right? Chief
That's
Marketing
perfect.
Officer. Okay, great. Chief Marketing Officer and music in Paris, or better, Paris. Okay. Hello, Paul, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Fabrizio. Thank you so much for having me today. Quite a pleasure to
thank you.
discuss with you.
Thank you. Okay. So, well, we are Virtual Team Music. We've been working with you since your inception in 2016. And Virtual Team Music website is very well integrated with your technology. So that all Virtual Team Music users can easily transfer any music title that includes a PDF file into the music system with a simple click, which is very convenient. So to get started, why don't you explain what is music and what do you offer to musicians worldwide?
Sure. So to be very brief about it, music is a platform. It's a software that provides basically all the tools that you need to work with digital sheet music. So first, it's a library manager where you can upload all your music and manage it digitally. You can organize your library with custom metadata, with a flexible architecture that basically fits your own system for organizing all your scores. And you can access this library digitally from any device just by connecting to your logging into your music account. You can retrieve actually any score that you own from any device at any time, anywhere in the world. So this means you don't have to carry all this sheet music with you, and you can simply slip an iPad into your backpack or use it on your computer and get any music that you need at any moment. Second, it's a powerful performance tool. It's available both as a web app and as an iOS app that you can use offline first, and that has optimized performances to make sure that you have more than a day's worth of autonomy when you use it in rehearsals and you have a concert at the end of
fantastic.
the day. So and the app is actually a package of tools. It's a toolbox. You can think of it as a toolbox that has all the tools that you need for your daily life as a musician. So you have a tuner, you have all PDF edition features, the crop and resize, and you can reorder pages or add new blank pages to quickly drop something in your paper. One of the most used features of music is the ability also to turn pages hands-free. With different system, most people use a Bluetooth pedal to do this, but it basically means that you don't have to let go of your instrument anymore when you're playing to simply go to the next page.
Right.
And there's a lot of features for this. It's a great performance tool. But I would say what really makes it unique is its collaborative aspect. Anything that you do in music can be shared in real time with other musicians. This means if you're a teacher and you work with a classroom full of students, you can not only share all your teaching material with them in advance of the class, but you can also write something on the score and they will see it appear on their own screen in real time, which is super handy these days with remote learning, and it's really helpful for a lot of teachers in schools who have to deal with this. But it's also very useful when you're a professional musician or a conductor and you work with an entire ensemble. Say you're the first violinist and you're the concert master in a symphony orchestra, and you have to prepare for your next concert. So you do all your bowings on your piece. With paper, it's quite a messy process where the librarian has to go and copy over all these bowings on the different individual copies of all the musicians, etc. That's not the case with music. You simply do your bowings on your iPad, and your entire orchestra gets it in real time in their machine as well. So that saves you hours of work.
Wow.
So that's basically what music is about.
Yeah, I mean the feature to be able to share the annotation with the other musicians, that's something which is really huge, I think. I remember when I used to be a professional violinist, I used to be to play in professional orchestras as a violinist in the row. I remember I used to dream about this kind of technology with friends and colleagues. And we said, oh, can you imagine in the future, maybe we're going to have these devices where, the first violin is going to put down a Boeing and everybody is going to get it right away. So that's now possible. And
Welcome
I
to the
think,
future.
yeah, exactly. Welcome to the future. That's amazing. And I think music is probably the only application allowing that so far.
It is.
Am I correct?
It,
Because I
it,
haven't
it,
seen
it,
anything.
yeah. Yeah, I know that other software have some of the features that we have as well. We're the only software that provides a solution for the entire change from
Exactly.
even before you own the sheet music, because as you know perfectly, we work also with music publishers to
Yes.
provide legal and secure ways to transfer digital files over um, to your clients as a music publisher, and for people to actually get digital sheet music with in a legal way, which is still a bit difficult today. Most of the files that you get in digital are, you still get those from untrusted sources online, and there may be some copyright issues with this. So in order to change this, what we're doing is we also build products for music publishers, and this is a driver for the entire environment towards a more digital uh, paradigm, if you want,
Yes,
where
absolutely.
we make it easy for publishers to distribute digital sheet music, which in terms makes it a lot easier for musicians to get it. And we're one of the very few companies in the world who work on that. And then we also work with individual musicians, but we also work with symphony orchestras, and we work with music schools. So while we have some competition on all of these segments, we're the only company that addresses all of them.
Yeah, which is fantastic. You have a full vertical integration of the system to address any possible situation, which is amazing. Okay, fantastic. Great introduction, and I think this sets us on the next section of this interview, where I'm going to ask you a few questions that I'm sure our audience will be interested to learn about. So the first question is, well, we have already discussed most of the benefits of using tablets instead of the real sheet music. But besides the fact you can share sheet music, you can easily store it and take it anywhere you want, a huge library into a single devices. What else do you think are the benefits of using tablets and digital sheet music in general versus the traditional sheet music we
Yeah.
always have been used to?
Absolutely. So while the first reason people start using digital sheet music is often because they have to manage a huge library of score, they're either a professional musician or they're an arranger, a composer, a conductor. So these people manage a lot of sheet music on a daily basis, and moving to digital just makes a lot of sense because managing an entire library of scores is usually a big mess when you think about it. Scores are damaged, you lose them. It's quite complicated, and it doesn't have to be, because just by moving to digital scores, you make your life a lot easier by just having everything on your iPad, sending it, receiving it in real time with other people, and just working on it in a more flexible way. But we already discussed all of that. So I would say what's the real value of digital scores is that it's so much more than just a digital equivalent of what you have in paper, because digital scores means you can add extra layers of interactivity to your score. It's not just music notation anymore. It's a flexible music notation at first that you can interact with. This means that, for example, in music, we have features where if you use like we support different kinds of formats of digital scores. And with some of these formats, you can actually transpose them in just one click. So that's very easy that's very useful, for instance, when you work with a singer and it's late in the day and their voice might be a bit tired, and you have to take it down to a different key just to make it easier for them. You can actually do this with digital scores. You can never do this with paper, and you have to transpose it without having a proper notation for it, which is a mental activity it requires some attention just to do that. And it's this attention, you can't focus it on how you actually perform the music that you're supposed to play. So this is one example. Another example is that if you're a teacher working with students, you can record yourself with actually with the audio recorder or using your iPhone or your iPad's camera. When you perform an exercise, you can then synchronize this with your score to get automatic page turn. And if you do that, if you think about it, you've just created an interactive lesson that you can then share in real time with the students. And it's not only that, but also since your students receive it in real time, they can do the same thing, record themselves. And you can see all of this and provide feedback and have this interactivity in real time and remotely. So this is the kind of extra layers of interactivity that you can add with digital scores. It's a lot more complicated to do this kind of things with paper, obviously.
Absolutely. And which is really amazing. And beside the technical benefits for the musician and etc., there's also an environmental impact on that, right? Something we at Virtual Sheet Music are really caring about. We have just launched a new campaign for the environment, and anyone interested can go on www.virtualsheetmusic.com/environment and see what we have been doing for the past 20 years for the environment, and we are committed now to do. In fact, I was telling Paul that we just became definitely carbon negative. But what are your thoughts about the use of digital sheet music versus traditional paper sheet music from the environmental standpoint?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to really take the opportunity to congratulate you on this great initiative. It's actually something very new, because there are actually a lot of companies who today want to be carbon neutral or offset what they emit. You're doing a lot more than that. You're becoming carbon negative. You compensate more than you contribute to global warming. So it's a great thing for the environment, and this is such an important topic today. And thank you for asking this question, because it's actually something that people care a lot when they consider transitioning to digital sheet music. The impact on the environment is often something that sets them back, or they have questions about it, because there are two kinds of situations, if I want to oversimplify things. Either you're a professional musician or you're not a professional musician.
Right.
If you're a professional musician, going digital is a total no-brainer, because people think, okay, I will use less paper, but then I need to buy an iPad, and that's a bad thing for the environment. And they're correct. But this is not the entire picture. The paper that you use for your paper sheet music, it's not only about the paper and what that's consumed, because it's actually not so much. But it's also about all the ink that goes into the process of printing your scores and producing it. But more than that, it's all the logistics involved in the physical distribution of sheet music.
Exactly.
When you buy sheet music from your local music shop, there was an entire industry and logistics behind that to just provide it. Now, if you're in an orchestra and your orchestra rents the sheet music for the season, you have two times this entire circuit, with trucks transporting loads and loads of scores to different orchestras, and so this has a huge impact on the environment. So going digital is a total no-brainer when you're an avid reader in this kind. Now, for amateurs, the question is not so much about using digital sheet music or paper sheet music. It's more in terms of, do you really need to buy a new device to do this? Sure. You can actually use digital scores first on your computer, and Music has just launched a web version, so you can actually use music as well on the web. That. We can discuss. We can discuss this a little bit later. But even if you want to use an iPad and a tablet, and you definitely should, because that's so convenient when you're a musician, just go and buy a used one. Absolutely. iPads are great. They're great machines that are built to last. So you can go and buy it buy it secondhand with no problem, and you can use that for years afterwards. And if you do this, the impact that you have on the environment is a lot less. And it's not so much about that, but just think about all the logistics involved when you buy even from a music publisher, you buy online, but
Yes.
you receive it
Yes.
through the mail. Just think about it, and you'll see that
Yeah.
going digital, that is not really, it's
Absolutely.
not really a question.
Absolutely. And there is another aspect that sometimes is overlooked, which is the fact that digital is scalable. I mean, you can
Yeah,
scale it to infinity without having any impact on the environment. If you think you can have millions of digital files of music, but think to make millions of pages of sheet music, you know.
yeah.
So that's another very important aspect of it.
And
And
there's an interesting thing for that is that when you use paper and you have millions of pages, most of the time you will lose some of them. So you will print them again. And that's
exactly.
another benefit of it
Yes,
going
sure,
digital,
of course,
is that
of course.
once your files are digitized and uploaded to a platform such as music,
Yeah,
they're safe forever. You will
sure.
never lose a score again. So you just go and you get it when you need it, and that's it. And you don't have to print it
Yes.
anymore.
And what about new editions? If you need to print a new edition, you have to print it again. Instead with digital, you know, you can update it right away and without, you know, any impact anywhere. So yes, it's a no-brainer, as you said. So it's a win-win. Fantastic. So the next question for you is, how do you think, yes, this digital trend has picked up in the past few years, and do you see this to continue in years ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually quite interesting what happened last year. Before the COVID crisis, there was already quite a traction for digital scores. It picked up interest because it's so useful for musicians on a daily basis. But I need to say that last year was incredible for us. It was first of all, it was super weird. All music professionals were basically left without jobs. So it was yeah, the COVID crisis was terrible for the
Yeah,
music community.
yeah, sure, of
But at the
course.
same time, I think there are some aspects of it that may have been positive actually. People saw the benefits of digital a lot more than they could before, not only in terms of whether you use paper sheet music or digital sheet music, but more about what actual benefits it can provide for the music community. Think of all the teachers that had to learn to teach music on Zoom, as Zoom is not by any means a software that has been designed to teach music classes. So and it's not the only example. Orchestras were doing the same thing, and we saw all these virtual ensembles popping up on YouTube where people were wondering how they can interact with each other remotely. The same thing happened also for music publishers, and we actually developed a lot of new connections and helped a lot of music publishers transition to digital distributions last year, because at some point this was the only option left for them. All the borders were closed, and they had to find a solution. And I think so. I think 2020 really helped people realize the potential, realize two things. First, the potential and the benefits of digital scores, and second, that it was not a futuristic idea anymore. It's we began the interview by saying, "Welcome to the future." This is not the future. Right. This is the present, and we've been doing this for the past 5 years. You know, so this and so we welcomed a lot more, a huge number of new users in 2020 alone. We did over 100,000 downloads on the App Store. And we're very proud that people trust and love music and trust us basically in our technology with their with what is their job. It's a professional software. So so this means we also had to step up our processes in terms of testing and making sure that it was rock solid, because we know that people rely on this for professional use. And I guess that's really something that people love about music is the how powerful and reliable it is. We work with music publishers, with trusted publishers that have a reputation and would not trust us if our technology was not this reliable. But we also work with major orchestra institutions, as well as a lot of professional or semi-professional or amateur musicians who have a real need for a reliable use. I'm not a professional musician myself, but I'm really serious about my passion for music and when I go and perform music. And so having this trust in tools that they use is critical for me.
Oh yeah,
And I guess
sure.
it's the same thing for people
That
who use music. So
absolutely.
yes, the trend was already on the rise, but last year was
Yeah,
a huge step into it,
yeah,
leap into the future, basically,
yeah. I
for
see. I
digital
think
schools.
just it just accelerated the trend that was already there, right? So
Yeah,
just
and I think
an
it's here
acceleration.
to
Uh,
yeah, and it's here to last,
yes,
if I may,
absolutely.
because I think there was a mental switch, and all the people that experienced it uh, basically don't think they could go back to paper now. And this is not only about music; it's just in general. Digital platforms have gained a lot of trust in general public. Whatever job
Right.
you're doing, whatever platforms or tools you use, I think we all now see the real benefits of doing this.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So let's talk about Music Web, which is a new feature you have recently launched, which allows musicians to view, annotate, share scores on any computer, either desktop or laptop. Besides, the tablet where your app is, it's such a huge revolution. So inside a simple web browser, right? So what's going on there? How does it work?
So it's interesting to see the link with your previous questions because yes, we just launched Music Web. Matter of fact, end of last year as a beta version, and it's going to be the first production ready version in the coming weeks. So it's still in beta, which means you can actually just go to music.com/web and try it for free
Okay.
until the end of end of March. And so, what is Music Web? First of all, Music Web is music, which means if you love music and you've been using it as an iOS app up until now, you can go on Music Web and log into your music account and get your entire library of score
Okay.
in any computer. But it's not only about your computer or your laptop. You can actually use Music Web on any device. Even though it's optimized for laptops for now, our plan is to basically make it usable on any device, including Android tablets or phone or any
Fantastic.
device that you own. So what is our vision for this is that there are a lot of things involved, a lot of different steps when you work with digital sheet music that are more easily done from a computer than from a tablet. If you write your own songs and scores in annotation software, you do this from your computer most of the times.
Right.
So having a platform that you can easily transition to on the same device, meaning you're in your annotation software, you export your scores and you can export this directly into the web and just drag and drop files very easily to your platform and organize all your library from your computer when you're at home. That's great. Then you don't need to worry about anything about airdropping stuff to your iPad or your iPhone and then entering this into music and creating your lists, etc., from a touchscreen, which is it's a bit more complicated. But now, when you go on stage and you perform, and hopefully we can do that again soon. But
Right.
just if you're on your piano and you have to display it and you have to handwrite things onto your scores, this is much easier to do from either your iPhone or your iPad. So the app is still it's still a great product. It's still a very important part of the music environment. It's just that now, actually, we say music app and music web. All of this is just music. Music is a multi-platform environment you can access from any device to manage all your
Anywhere.
scores.
Yes, that's the
Anywhere.
point. Anywhere from any device, and
Yeah.
the reach just multiplies. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's an important thing. Is why we wanted to develop Music Web is because when the pandemic started, there was this huge need from music educators that basically had no software to manage their scores and share them and work on them in real time with their students. And now that they couldn't do it in the classroom, in physical classrooms anymore,
Right.
it was crucially important to come up with an answer to this. And so the answer is both Music Web, and it's also a new offer that we just launched that's called Music Education, and that's intended for schools who want to use our technology to either transition to remote teaching or implement some sort of a hybrid model. My personal opinion is that this is where the music teaching community is going, where some of the teaching will happen in person still, and hopefully we can do that more. But I don't see music teaching going back to the previous world where how it used to be before. As I said, I think all the new habits that we developed during this pandemic in 2020 and still today are here to last, because they're, besides the obvious technical difficulties and barriers at first, and also psychological barriers, I think there are actually a lot of good things.
Yes, I also think we have reached a point of no return. So we are on the path that is going just to continue. Absolutely. So you have already answered partially my last question, which was, what are your plans for the future, and what's your vision for the publishing industry? Not only from the publishing industry standpoint, of course, but from the musician standpoint. What is your vision for the musician in the future? What do you think musicians will be capable of doing in the future with this new technology, which is already giving us so much?
That's the interesting thing about developing technology for musicians. It's that we are not the ones who are responsible for developing this vision. We provide the tools, and it's for the musicians to come up with smart and new ways of using it. And we actually react to this. We didn't just come up with the idea for music. As you said, as a professional violinist, you were looking for this kind of technology where you were playing music, and when this was your job. And that's actually how we created music. We discuss every day with professionals in the field. We hear whether they're professional musicians, whether they're music educators, or just an everyday hobbyist that's passionate about music and wants to play a lot of music and learn a lot of songs, like myself. So we discuss with all these people every day, and we simply hear what they have to say and what they're looking for, and we build this for them. I think this is really what our message is all about. Is music was built for you. If you're a musician and you have to manage a lot of scores. It was more than that, but it was, in a way, it was built by you, because it's all the feedback that our customers give us that drive our product roadmap. So to answer your question and take a leap. What the vision is, first of all, as we discussed already, I think this trend about digital scores is here to last, because besides the temporary obvious need of a solution, the benefits are real, and people know this now, and they are convinced. So it's here to last. I think we're in a world where mobility is a lot more important than before. So having a solution that provides not only an easy way to access all the repertoire and make it easier for people to actually cultivate themselves and take a look at district music from centuries ago, from this edition that they couldn't find on their local music shop and that they can find with digital scores, because digital distributions makes it a lot more easy to access.
Yes.
I think this is important. Then also, I think with all the performance aspect of it, it actually opens up new possibilities for performers, but also for composers to use. We see a lot of interesting things happening in contemporary music, for instance, with composers working with random scores. This is something I was super interested to read about, where the performers basically don't know where they will be performing, and the composer just, in using some methods, create the scores right away during the performance. And this is not possible at all with paper. This is something that is doable with digital scores. So I think musicians are really creative. That's a given. and they all find ways to use technology and transform it to use it as their advantage. So maybe it will be virtual reality. Maybe it's, I don't know,
Right.
holograms. Maybe it's machine learning. I'm an electronic musician myself, and I think the power of using machines and algorithms to perform music and create music is very interesting, and we start to see these things happening as well in classical music and contemporary music, where scores are involved. So I'm very interested to see what that's going to be in the next 10 years.
Sure.
And I think where the most important value of digital resides is in music education. Digital technology makes music education accessible to a lot more people.
Yes.
And that's very very important, I think, more than ever in today's world.
Right.
Having access to knowledge is so important for kids to cultivate themselves and become interesting human beings and develop their own way of thinking and seeing the world, and hopefully drive it to a better place. I think art has a crucial role to play in this mental process, and training younger generations and cultivating them, transmitting the repertoire, the musical repertoire is so important. And really, I'm so grateful to all the music educators and all the teachers who taught me all of this as a child. That if I can in any way help them today with what we're doing at music, it's a pleasure.
Fantastic, very nice thoughts. So we can say that the future is actually in the hands of the musicians, right? Because it's up to them what they want, what their needs are going to be, and their feedback will drive us to the path and the fantastic dreams of the future. So
absolutely, as developers, we open possibilities.
Exactly.
It's the people's responsibility to take them in a certain direction afterwards.
Fantastic. I'm going to leave this interview with this vision of the future, very, very, very positive. And I thank you very much again for connecting with us. And I invite everyone to go on music.com and to discover this application in case you don't know it already, because it's really something that deserves to be discovered and to be enjoyed.
Well, yeah, and there's something on this that we didn't discuss at all. I'm quite surprised I forgot to mention it, actually.
Yeah.
Is that the best part? Is that you can try music for free.
Right.
We're a freemium software, so there's a free forever version that you can use. You have a limited library, limited storage space in your library, but besides that, you can just enjoy music, all the features, everything that you need. And then we have different offers, whether you're an orchestra, whether you're a music school. We have special discounts for education, for teachers and students as well. So if you're interested in any way, two things: go to music.com and you'll get all the information there, or send us an email, and we're more than happy to discuss with all the people who send us emails. As I said, feedback is so important, that's really in our culture as a company. So please do it if you have any question.
Sure.
The email address is contact@music.com. And second, just go and download music on the App Store. Go to our website, go to MusicWeb, and start building your score library.
Absolutely. Thank you for the advice. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Fabrizio, for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, and we'll stay in touch. The future is waiting for us. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.